All right, guys, I'm back. I'm doing a story time on this video. And for people who were looking for my Married at First Sight video, I did it different. I forgot that I had some after party clips that I wanted to add, and I ended up doing the video early. So you have to kind of go through and find it. I apologize. I'm going to try to do better. I got a lot of stuff going on. So that's another reason why I'm doing the story time tonight. One of the things that facilitated this, is kind of pushed it over the edge, was that I was looking at some Married at First Sight super panels, and it's just disturbing. It's really disturbing to see black people cut each other up like this, and then just do it to everybody at large. There's not enough information given to us about these people for us to be at this point and calling people liars and accusing people of incest. People are actually accusing Aries and his cousin of being incestuous. This is how ridiculous this is. And see, this is the thing that Christians don't understand. It's like when you accuse somebody of doing something and you don't have any proof, that's the same thing that the Pharisees did to Jesus. And then the extra thing that they did, because what they said that they caught him on, they said that they caught him in blasphemy, against God. So according to the Old Testament law, that was punishable by death. So they could have killed Jesus themselves. But instead of them doing it, they got Rome to do it. So that's how sneaky these jokers are. But I digress. Okay? We're in a situation today where, number one, we don't understand the totality of where we're living. We only see bits and pieces of where we think we are. Like, later on in the video, I'm going to share a rebuttal to that whole thing with Stephen Reed and the Boulay thing that I played on my Married at First Sight, episode 9 video. That's important information. And the rebuttal that I'm going to play for you, it's really important information. That's why I actually try to just listen to as many perspectives as I actually can. The rebuttal information is a dude that's looking at capitalism. He understands what that mayor said on a capitalistic frame. The problem with that viewpoint only is that is it's a framework that has no real substance to it. It's like a house, and the foundation that it's sitting on, it means everything for the house. So if your house is not being built on a strong foundation, then the least thing that can come around will knock it straight down, and everything that you work for to build in a house will be destroyed because the foundation of it was jacked up. And that's where we are. If you just see stuff from a capitalistic viewpoint, you're missing religion. If you miss religion and capitalism, you're missing culture. There's so many different variables that are happening that is our real reality, not this fictitious system that we've been told about. This is the kind of stuff that I'm trying to get people to understand. And the people who are reviewing this show, and I don't watch any other reviews, I can't take it. I would be in a fetal position if I had to listen to them review any other show. Okay? This is enough. And I barely can make it 5 minutes through their videos, okay? 5 minutes, man. It's tough. And so when you listen to that video later, this is the kind of thing I actually invite you guys, to look at. So important. Because what the guy was talking about, the boule on the previous video I'm saying to you, his is valid. He has a valid point. You can't discount somebody's valid point because this is a man that you like, that you think that the crumbs that you're getting from him are satisfactory. So those crumbs are satisfactory for you. You can't tell other people that they have to be satisfied with those crumbs as well. And this is the state of where we are today. Everybody wants to dictate how somebody else is supposed to feel. I'm not going to tell Dominique that she needs to stay in a marriage that she's not comfortable staying in. I don't care how old she is. If she's not comfortable being in this environment with this man, I'm going to give her that opportunity to make that decision for herself. I'm not going to sit there and call her a liar and denigrate her and tear her up as a woman and as a human being because of some stuff because of a few scenes that I saw on the TV show. This is insane. This is insanity. And so now Mac is the new Clint. Now Mac is just, pristine. He is the victim, in all of this. I haven't seen any, behavior, any bad behavior from Mac. Mac said and sat there and admitted the whole honeymoon, how jacked up he was and how challenging he was to be with on a honeymoon. If you can't have fun with somebody on a honeymoon, then what is the rest of the marriage is supposed to look like? The honeymoon is supposed to be the best part. That's the cherry, and then you dig down into the rest of the ice cream. Nobody waits until the end of the sundae to eat the cherry. The cherry is one of the first things that you eat when you get a sundae. And I'm not even a sundae person, because I don't like bananas like that. But even I understand that. You eat the nuts and chocolate and all that, and then you get down to the bananas at the bottom. My goodness. It's just so part of what I want to say in the storytime video is where we are as a community, my experience. I got a legal experience that I'm involved in, and I kind of, want to shed some light on that, and then just kind of continue to use, what I can from my life as an opportunity for people who are younger than me, people who can really, if you get what I'm saying, you guys have the opportunity to have something incredible. And so, I guess, where am I going to start? I said that, okay. Yeah, that's good. This is a good one. I guess, learn your enemy. And it took me a long time. It really took me a long time to find out who that is in my life. And I think I did it backwards. Because in order for me to really know who my enemy is, I actually had to open up my spiritual eyes. Because that's one of the things that really kept me confused and caught up, when I was living on a worldly framework. I didn't understand, and I still go back and forth. I mean, I give people too much access to me, and I really am praying to the Lord to kind of shift that around, because I'm exhausted. I'm getting to the point where I really can't be around people, and I'm going to have to, start to accept that. And so it's just too much. It's too much work. It's too much energy. It costs too much. It costs too much money. It costs too much time. And I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting enough back for the energy that I'm putting out in my physical, surroundings. And now it can cost me, even more, because there's a restaurant. The name of it is T. Piacera, and it's in my neighborhood here in San Francisco. So back I don't even remember how many years ago it's been, but back when I started moving in different social circles, I started moving to different social circles. And one of the things that some of the people that I was beginning to know, we used to all get together at the happy hour at this restaurant here called TP Achera. And I actually used to really love it. I'm going to confess, I enjoyed myself. I thought I was having a good time. I thought, my business was, appreciated. And I was actually bringing business, to this place. And the guy that owns it, he's like Middle Eastern. And he is a dickhead, really. So what ended up happening is I had brought some people into the restaurant, and we were trying to put in our order. And this guy, the owner, was on vacation, and he had left a message with his brother who was taking care of he was managing the place while he was on vacation. He just came and told me that the dude said that he didn't want me to be served. I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. And I was trying to find out, what was going on. And I was just told that I wasn't welcome, in the restaurant, anymore. And that was hard. That was really hard because I loved the bartenders. I loved the people that I was getting to know, at the happy hour. I actually liked the little ambiance, of the restaurant itself. It was cute. And, I had the big windows where you could, sit and have dinner or lunch or whatever. And it just hurt. It really hurt. And now that I'm in this legal thing and I have to actually go in my head and I'm thinking about, what am I going to say to this judge? I got to go in front of a judge, child. And one of the things that I'm remembering is that, and not just remembering, but really understanding, is that the purpose of him telling me that I was no longer welcome in his restaurant was to make me feel rejected. And that's exactly what it made me feel. And I didn't even realize that it was on this level until I ran into the only other black dude that I knew in that group of people. I ran into him after COVID. So it was like last year, something. Actually, it was last year. And because we spent our birthday. Well, I spent his birthday, with him, but he didn't spend whatever. But so we were together, just chopping it up. And he told me that he is no longer welcome in that restaurant either. And I just sat there. I just sat there and listened to him because when I got kicked out, he didn't come to my defense. There was none of them. None of them stood up for me and was like, okay, why is LaShawn being, what's going on? Why, blah, blah, none of that. Everybody was like, ooh, it was like I had leprosy, or something. Very embarrassing. The whole situation was embarrassing. And then, it just really kind of solidified that it's just something malignant, in this Joker. And the fact that, the other guy and myself have been told that we're not welcomed, and that just did something to me. Because see this, and I've said this before about immigration and immigrants that come over here and don't know anything about the history of this country and don't care. Here's the Joker that if I went to his country, to wherever he came from, and I treated one of their citizens the way that he treated me, there is nowhere in the world I would be able to have a successful business, number one. And then number two, there's no way that there would be government officials that would be defending me over them. I would be the odd man out. But see, when you come to America, you can come from a hole in the wall from the far reaches place of the world. And you can come over here and be equal with the racists, the bigots, and all the other nuts that are here equally with the same rights in America. And this is what I actually had to come to terms with, is that I actually defended this country. You got black people who have defended this country, who are currently dying as I speak, defending this country so that racists and other all kinds of nuts can come over here and discriminate against you and treat you like you're less than a human being. Like they are better people than you are. This is what black people in the armed services and in police departments nationwide, all over the world. This is how stupid we are, that we do not understand the country that we're living in and the work that we say that we're doing for it. This is how nutty. I mean, if you were to see this on the screen, you would be like, these people have lost their minds. And it's true. This is how crazy we are. And then knowing all of this, when I sit here and I listen to the stupidity that comes out of the mouths of these people who review this show, it is depressing. I cannot tell you how depressing it is. I get to sit in a country where black women refuse to respect each other. And then I have to sit here and be disrespected by a motherfucker from the Middle East. This motherfucker has decided my money isn't good enough for his establishment when I'm bringing him business. I've never heard I mean, I don't even understand what else. What else? You tell me something else. You give me another reason. Because he never told me. He never told me why I wasn't welcome in his establishment. And when I walk by, this joker has a smirk on his face. I don't even know how to explain to you the emotions that I have about this. So the night that I have to go to court for, I actually was on my way home. I had a decent evening. I don't even know what it was. I passed by there. This joker was standing in the window, and there was a black woman that was there at the table with some other people. I just lost it. I lost it because I hate seeing us. I hate seeing us giving people who don't give a rat's ass about us money. You're making him successful. When he interrupted a business meeting that I was having, it was so embarrassing. Over what? He didn't help me be successful, but you sitting up here helping him be successful. And I showed out. Now, I caused a disturbance. Yes, I did. And I really am sorry for that. But he's accusing me of vandalism. And I didn't vandalize, this man's place of business. And so the whole police thing, that is a whole separate video. I don't even know if I'm going to talk about it. I know that I'm going to try to take the city of San Francisco to court because I feel like my civil rights were violated. But do I know that I'm going to come back and tell y'all, story time about it? I haven't decided that yet. But yeah, it was just, the whole thing is a mess. And like I said, I got to go to court on Tuesday, for this junk. And she's sitting there defending him. Look, man, I'm telling you, I feel like a person without a country. I don't have a country. I don't have a country. I feel like I don't have a people. I don't have a community of people I can turn to. And it hurts. I cannot tell you the pain. I feel like I am going to stop. But yeah, it's hard. It is, oh man, please. And for parents and people and aunts and cousins, the only thing you can do is just tell and give people information. You can't force a person to listen, to what you're saying. My advice It's for black people to stay out of the armed services and to stay out of policing. If you find out what I'm talking about and you go into these professions, your mental health is going to be affected. Especially if somebody tried to tell you before you did it. My brother, and I'm not even close with my brother, that joker was over in Kuwait, and he got affected. He was a truck driver. So he is like one of those people, like the burn pits, like the toxic fumes and all of the gases and all that mess. My brother came back with severe lung damage. This joker had to be put on steroids. He's like 2 times the size. Last time I saw him, he looked like the jolly black giant. This joker was huge. I was looking at him, and my brother used to be about 6 feet tall. He's about what, 6'5", 6'8"? No, he's about 6'5" or 6'6" right now. He is a giant, and that's because of them steroids that he had to take. My mother said that he almost died. She had to make him go to the VA hospital to get treatment. And he is that jacked up, so that this piece of shit could come from the Middle East and come over here and treat a citizen as if they are less than he is. I don't think I've told you guys, about this. I actually had a neighbor, I'm talking about right here in my apartment complex, right across from me, that I used to share the porch with. She is, I think she's still living. She's from Nicaragua. And that bitch ended up calling me a nigger. She came over here from a jungle. And that's what she considers us, as niggers. See, and this is the problem that immigrants don't want to hear. This is what you don't want to, realize that you do. One of the police women that violated my civil rights, one of them I know at least one of them was black, and one of them was Asian. I don't remember a white one. I don't remember seeing a white woman in there that night that abused me. I don't remember seeing a white man in there that night that abused me. But other ethnicities, of Asian descent, yeah. And some Hispanics, no black. There was no black man in the San Francisco Police Department that I dealt with. Those two, one of them brothers actually treated me like a brother. And I was mean to him when I first, went in there. And that's a whole different story. But him and me ended up back in the back, we ended up together. And we actually ended up having a whole conversation. We were talking about the Bible and everything. He's a good brother. And I tried to tell him, man, look, this is not a good career. This is not a good career move for you. But, he don't want to hear what I'm saying. But I actually really appreciate him, for treating me like a human being. And, he showed up. That joker showed up in Christ. And he showed up in Christ. I have to give him, his props. As, a policeman. I feel sorry for him. I'm praying. Will y'all pray him out of there? We got to pray for that brother to get out of there. And the other brothers. 2 brothers in there. And I don't know their name. But in the Spirit knows exactly who I'm talking about. Will you pray them up out of that mess that they're in? Because they don't deserve to be there. They actually treated me with dignity and respect. And I appreciate that. I didn't get that from the rest of them. It was ridiculous. Child, if I get to tell you, it is ridiculous. So what else do I have? And this has been a weight. This has been a weight on me. And I know when I saw that, it just flipped the switch for me today. I mean, just the nerve, So, in one of the panels I know that I saw today, they got this big loudmouth chick Talisa, I think that's her name, from LA. So like I said, I'm in San Francisco, she down in LA. And then look, this one, and this is what set me off, with her. So one time I was watching their thing, and she up here, and this is before we had this whole rain thing. This was like last year or a year back in 2021 or something like that. It was a while ago when the drought, was still going on, and she's there talking about how much it rained, here in San Francisco. No, absolutely. And I've been living in San Francisco then. I was, 12 years in San Francisco. And she's telling me what the weather is like in San Francisco all the way down there from LA. I was like, yeah, I can't. How am I going to ever be able to take you seriously? And I mean, she was saying it like she knew. Like, look, like she was living here. Like I would say what the weather, would be like. I'm looking at her like, how can it rain here all the time when we in a drought? Everybody looking for water, but it rain here all the time. Do you even hear yourself? See, I'm never going to try to listen to you better than you listen to yourself. It's never going to happen. And I don't have any respect for her. And just listening to her big mouth today. Oh, if I was Jasmine and he told me he didn't want me, I would have left him. And then when Dominique says that she's not comfortable in her marriage with McKinley, or she's stupid, or she didn't give it enough time, or she should have did this, or she should have did that. But Jasmine is moving past her ego. She's not letting her ego dictate her steps. That is exactly what she's supposed to do. But then now, with Jasmine, she should let her ego, dictate her step. See, you can't, there's just no sense to be made. So why is it that Dom can't make up her own mind? She a grown woman. She know where she want to be comfortable in or not. Why everybody got to, be mad with her, but then with Jasmine, I don't know why you stay with theirs. Oh, you need to leave him. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I'll be gone. Ain't that something? The hypocrisy. The hypocrisy. The thing, too, that this whole boule and all this reviewing mess, see, and capitalism. See, and this is it. So if you look at capitalism like a cookie, right? And this is a cookie that has been, instead of chocolate chips, we're going to substitute those chocolate chips with fecal matter. And what people don't understand is, like, when you are in Hollywood, say you got a job in Hollywood, right? Your cookie is made up of mostly fecal matter. I know that people have heard rumors about them being at Hollywood parties and then they're forced to actually eat, little hors d'oeuvres of shit. So I can see that. I can see that little cookie, that little fecal cookie, that they eat when they at their little parties. So you go from that super, super fine concentrated fecal cookie to the one that maybe has 1/8 of an ounce of fecal matter in it. Now, which one would you eat? And most people don't understand that they're willing to eat a cookie that's got 1/8 of a drop of fecal matter in it in order for them to be able to participate in this capitalistic system. So this is the question that we all have to ask ourselves. What is the range of a fecal cookie that you're willing to eat in order to be able to participate in this capitalistic system? Even if it means screwing over your own grandchildren's 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 grandchildren. A lot of Christians don't know that the tribe of Dan is missing out of Revelation. Go read what? Revelation 7? Go read it. Manasseh and Ephraim have replaced. You go there and you look and you see Manasseh, and then you go down and you see Joseph's house. A lot of people don't know. A whole tribe Don't even talk about them no more. So if the Lord would do that to his tribe, his promise to Abraham, his promise to Jacob, his promise to Joseph, his promise to David. These are our promises. And the tribe of Dan is not listed in Revelation 7. There is, what is it? Well, I did a study on my other channel, Revelation 3, the church, Laodicea. Child, look. So, Laodicea to me is the new Dan. It's the new Dan. They go blind. They go blind. It is written for people who swear that they worship the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, that there will be people that will be weeping and gnashing their teeth because he says, "Depart from me. I don't know you." And these are people that are reviewing the show. I do not recognize them as people who say and understand who the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is. I just don't. There's nothing about them. And anybody coming in my comments telling me that Eris and his cousin are in an incestuous relationship, I'm going to block you. From here on, I'll let the rest of them, slide. But I'm not doing that no more. If somebody send me another comment about that, I will block you off my channel. Because I'm not doing it. Don't bring that mess over here. I don't have time. I got enough. I got enough fecal matter that I'm cleaning up in my own life that I don't need yours. Keep it over there with you. The other thing that this experience, this court thing, man, oh, Lord, have mercy. I was sitting there thinking, because I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep the whole time I was in that ordeal. And I had a lot of time to think. And I could see the old me. I could see that part of me. And I still have a lot of anger. But I was even angrier than what I'm angry now. I was even angrier. And when I was that kind of angry, that's when I'd be breaking up with the Lord. I'd be like, okay, yeah, this is not even, I don't believe in this. I got to go through my own thing. And see, I've learned I did go through enough. I bumped my head just enough that this time I didn't do that. I didn't separate myself from him, even though my anger was very high. And I ended up having to make apologies, and I have to, own my behavior. So when I go in that Tuesday, I got to own what's mine, and I'm going to do that. So that's me doing my lemonade squeeze. And I want to encourage you younger guys out there, as you're making, your decisions, do your best to pray. Even in your bad ones, just do your best to pray. If there's any success to be had in this situation, it is because I prayed. And I did. When I was in I was just in a low place. And I actually prayed. So I'm not telling you to do something that I wasn't willing, to do myself. So wherever it is, whether it's before the situation, during the situation, or after the situation, pray. When your mind opens up and allows you to pray, please do that. And seek guidance, when you're in a clear space and you can take those instructions. And the reason why I'm saying this is that in this situation, when I look at rejection, because that's what he intended, like I said earlier, he intended for me to feel rejected, and he succeeded. So what is the benefit? What is the benefit that he's gotten out of doing that? Besides, him being a smug piece of fucking shit that thinks that, it drives me insane. I can't even tell you how disrespected I feel that I got a dude from another country that is lording his patriarchal, what is it? What is the other word that I want to use? Because it's like a stereotype. And to me, when you stereotype a person, that's just like being a racist. Because you don't have enough information. You only have what you think you heard. You don't know. And that's the same thing that a racist does. And that's what I feel like when a lot of other people, especially people, from insular cultures, like they have, in the Middle Eastern, cultures, they're so insular, doing their own thing. They don't really know what other cultures, are about. And they've got so much jacked up in their own culture that you don't have time. You actually don't have the time or the capability of being able to levy that. But he's protected by U.S. law. Another, it's just, it is insane. It is insane what we are hooked up to. And where I see the black community going, I see us going the way of the dodo bird. And that is what happened to the American Indians. They ended up destroying themselves. If you go back and you look at history, the different regions of Indians, they was here fighting each other over their little territories. So instead of them being united, by the time the Europeans showed up, so the French came here and they were the smartest ones. Out of all the Europeans that ever showed up to these shores, the French are super intelligent because them jokers were married. They were marrying Indians. So that's how they were able to infiltrate themselves. Whereas the English, they kept themselves separate. They just, was just running around killing and just stealing, from them. Trading, beads and stuff, for land and all this old kind of stuff. So, I'm sure the French, did some of that too. But they used marriage and they actually solidified. They actually had stronger bonds with the Indians than the other Europeans, who decided that they didn't want to do that. So, the best part about following and praying and asking for guidance and wisdom is that that's really what we're supposed to do. And it falls under obedience. And I find myself being obedient, that's when my life has been the better. And when I'm disobedient, that's when I suffer. And I actually accept myself more when I'm obedient than I do when I'm disobedient. It's very painful. And not only black people, but Christians overall, the pain is going to get ramped up. Every time. Every time you want to run around here and lie on people and treat people, less than and go exactly against everything that he told us. And you don't take accountability for what you're doing. You're only putting poison into your own system. So you sitting up here talking about Dominique and you're talking about Jasmine and you're talking about Clint and you're talking about all these people and you're doing it in an unrighteous manner. You're only poisoning your own system. So you think that you're getting clicks and views and entertainment and they buying your t-shirts and your little lipstick and, you get to talk about, your little Alpha Phi Alpha and, you get to do your little podcast and you got a little notoriety, here and there. The screws are just going, and I'm just going to watch. I'm going to watch. I'm sitting there trying to let this woman know you're spending money with a racist and she defends the racist. And I told you about old girl the other night, and she know this joker don't know anything about Jesus, and she's sitting up defending him. I'm like, okay. And I'm just tired. And I understand what that guy was talking about with the boule. It's hard. I don't know. I have to wait for the Lord to tell me who and what I'm supposed to do. Because I'm so confused about who is going to treat me like a human being with dignity and respect, and who is going to just throw feces in my face. And it hurts even worse when it comes from people who aren't white. The other thing that I've been thinking about as I prepare, for my court case is the anger and some of the malevolence, that has come up inside of me. I'm like, where is this coming from? I hate being this mad. I hate being this angry. And then when I get this mad, when I didn't, especially if I'm trying to do something good for you, and then you turn around and throw shit in my face, it just does something to me. It does. And I just wonder, how am I here? How am I here when I'm trying to patronage you and bring you business? And how did I get here? Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? So how did I get here? It made me, as I was thinking about love, and I'm glad that the Lord brought this to my mind. There's a video down there. When I first saw that video pop up on my feed, I couldn't get this joker's face out of my head. It was disgusting. And I'm telling you, I am one of those people who end up finding some of the most disgusting stuff to look at. It is, ugh. This joker, when I saw his face, I was like, what? You talking about WTF? I was like, oh, what? So I finally clicked on this video and found out that this joker had caught an infection. He caught a cold, but the bacteria ended up in his bloodstream. And what it ended up doing was attacking the cells in his body. And he ended up having both of his arms and his legs amputated. And his mouth looked like, what is it? Like one of the Walking Dead had gnawed on it. Oh my God. I mean, this joker, look, if you think the clown mouth is disgusting, you go back and look. And the fact that this man figured out that he wanted to live after all of that, and then for the woman that he was with to figure out that this is the man, not only was she going to help and stand beside, as he, goes through life, she decides she wants to get married to him. Now, I don't even know if I would have got married to him. It is just incredible. Look, it is incredible, the will that these people have to be together. And that's what love looks like. And I don't think that Aries has it in it. I'm telling you, man, I don't even know if I would have got married to this dude. And he seems like one of the world's best people. He really honestly does. I can't tell you I would have got married to him. Would I have, been there to support him? Yes, because they have a child together. But would I have got married to him? Girl, I don't know. So anyway, I just saw it. And, I'm thinking about this whole mess and the definition of love. Aries, he thinks he knows, but he doesn't know. This dude didn't know. As a matter of fact, if you decide to go and look at the video, you'll see that when they had to take him to the hospital, they were trying to figure out where his cognition was. And so they told her to ask him a question that only they would know. And if he gave her the standard answer, then they would know where his level of cognition was. And the question that she asked him was, would he marry her? because she said that that was a question before he got sick that she would ask him all the time, and he would tell her no. So before he got sick, he wasn't interested in getting married to her at all. At all. And then when he woke up in the hospital and she asked him, he told her no. But then by the end of the video, after all the stuff that she had been through with him, he finally asked, it took him going through all that for him to finally ask this woman to get married to him. And that's just, I mean, that is crazy. The whole thing is crazy. I actually admire this guy. And I invite you to go down and look at his story. Because that's what love is. It's exactly what you don't think that it is. Okay, so the other thing that was coming to my mind when he was telling me about love is I often look at the evil and the craziness that we have to live in. And I don't know. I really am having a hard time coping. I'm not even going to lie. I am having a very difficult time living in what I see. And it goes back, well, why can't, the God, eradicate evil, and why doesn't, the blah, blah, blah. And it always brings me to what we call in the people who follow Christ community, the devil or Satan. So his original name is Lucifer. And when he was kicked out of the kingdom, he got a new name, and he is called Satan. And so the thing with that, I always wonder what made him so angry. Because if you think I'm mad, if you think that I'm angry, and I ain't lying, I am angry. Whoa, child. Oh, my God. I hate to see my angry self. I realize that this Joker is like, he's like super king size angry. And what I'm understanding is those of us who give in to our anger are really following him and not following, in the pathway, that the Lord, has set. And so every time I'm mad, and so he sent me to a scripture. It's in Ezekiel, and it's 28:12 through 19. And it talks about how pure of a being he was until there was iniquity that was found in him. And my thing is, how did it get there? How did it get there? And what happened? What made him so angry that he decided to tell the Father to go F himself and set himself up to be what is it? I don't even know what the biggest enemies, are in the Marvel, universe. Who's the dude? Who's the dude with the rings? Anyway, this the biggest supervillain. This is the biggest supervillain that you could probably imagine that goes up, against God. What happened? What does that story look like? And I haven't seen it yet, So when I think about my anger and when I let it, when I allow it to have more space in my life than it should, I always think about that. And I don't want to be a victim to my anger. So I really do need help with that. And I'm tired. I know where I live. It's not an environment that's safe for Black people. And for Black capitalists, they really are not your friend. They have a level of knowledge that they know that you don't. And they have made the decision that eating a super concentrated piece of feces is acceptable for them because it will get them what they want. And to me, if you know that you're eating a cookie that has been baked with feces in it. I don't care if it's an eighth or a whole block of it, just on its own. Isn't that something to question? Don't we want to question ourselves before we put that in our mouths? Just to sit down and actually have a dialogue. Because the longer that you actually sit there and think about it, probably the less likely you'll be to eat it. I'm sorry. I know I'm supposed to. So when I see a person like Kamala Harris, because Kamala Harris is the AKA, all right? And they are proud. This is so stupid. This is how stupid they look. They are proud of Kamala, oh, that's not so, oh, girl, child. Sorry, I ain't trying to do nothing for you. If I find that clip of her, there was an interview that she did, and they asked her what she was going to be willing to do. Was she going to be willing to do anything specifically for the black community? And she said no. If I find that, I'm going to put that down there in the description box. So I invite you to keep looking, for that. And what else do I have down here? Yeah. So I said the word. One of the worst things I think that can happen, to a person is rejection. And if you don't know what it feels like to be rejected, I don't know. I don't know if that's a blessing or not. I guess in one way it is, because rejection is horrible. Especially when it comes from your own people. People that you would never expect it to come from. Woo, boy. People sit up and talk about Judas, child, but you don't know what it's like to one, is in your midst. And I think about the boule, too. When I was in college, I actually had thought about, I don't know, I met some sorority people. Like I met this girl these couple of girls who were in Zeta Phi Beta, and I never knew any AKAs, and I knew a couple of Deltas. So, I was interested. I thought maybe if I were going to do it, I would probably, try to do Delta. But the ones that I knew, they were so mean. They were very mean. And it was kind of evident that I wasn't, I didn't feel like I was of their caliber. And then I didn't have the money. I didn't have money like that, in college. That was another reason why I left and went to the Army, because I got tired of being so broke. And I wasn't able to go anywhere. I wasn't able to do anything. I wasn't able to buy the clothes. All I could do, was study, and that was it. I couldn't do anything else. And I wanted to live. And so I put my college career on hold, and I went, into the military. And I don't know. Was that like jumping from the frying pan into the fire? I don't know. That's an interesting question. But I didn't feel welcome. And I didn't want to put myself in that position where I would have to be, number one, I didn't want to be abused. And one of the people that I knew had the capacity to do that. I mean, that's how crazy. This is how crazy this girl was. And, yeah, no, I don't regret not trying to join a sorority. That was a intelligent, decision. I still was stupid later because I ended up joining the Eastern Star. And it's the same thing, on a spiritual level, it's the same thing. But I wasn't abused. I wasn't abused by anybody. And the women were very nice, to me. But when you look at people who are in these sororities, and you look at, what is her name? Because I keep calling her Kirsten, and her name is Kirsten. So it really annoys me when I go back and listen to myself and I have to hear, me mispronouncing this woman's name. But when I look at Kirsten, and then when I went and looked at the video that her sorority sister, has up, the these are women who think that they are being intelligent. She thinks that she's being intelligent. I think on some level, like at that altar where I felt she put Shaq below her, this is that mindset. And I don't know how he's going to respond. I'm interested to see how he's going to respond if he ever figures out that that's where she has relegated him to. That's interesting, for me to look at. But how do you set yourself up to think that you're better than another human being? What you are is different. You're not better. And the fact that you got black people out here who think this way and who think this way about each other is really disgusting. And I am looking for her and Eris to prove me wrong and to show me that they have some humanity in them. I'm searching for it. So I've been talking for almost an hour. I'm looking at my notes. I think that I have most everything. I'm going to invite you guys to think about really eating at home. Stop giving these people our money. Stop giving energy and time and our precious life force to people who don't have any appreciation, for who we are and what we contribute, to this country. And invest in each other. Turn capitalism on its head and invest in each other. Take that money away from Bill Gates and away from this nut over here at TP Achara and go and take that money. Like when I gave that money to that brother, I invested in that brother that day. There wasn't a dollar I had in my pocket that was more important than giving it to him so that he could go and get what he needed for himself. I hope that what I gave him was enough. And I did. I just put my hand in my pocket and just gave it straight to him because he needed it. If you out here thinking that you're going to rob, people, no. That's not the future. That's not your future. Your future has more intelligence, more intention. It has a higher purpose and a higher power than being out here robbing people. Invest in each other. Take that money and turn it into gold. Turn it into something that lasts forever. Capitalism, all fiat currency has died. There ain't a fiat currency that has ever been created that we still using today. And one of these days, our currency is going to go the way of the dodo. It's going to go the way of the American. Yeah, it's not going to be. It is not going to have the heft and the strength that it once used to have. And the life force is not going to have that. It's going to go the same way. So, it's really hard. It's really hard not to resent, not to stay angry, not to disconnect. I'm at the point now where I really and truly just want to disconnect. I do. And this is where I'm at, man. It hurts. I'm in pain. And everybody got some prayer out there. I appreciate it. We got to do better. We got to do better.